tuning into Nightline with me, Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan. News making the headlines. Tan Sri Muhyiddin to be charged with sedition on Tuesday. And Cybersecurity Act 2024 comes into force. Good morning. Perikatan National Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin will be charged on Tuesday in connection with his speech during the recent Nenggiri by-election campaign, which allegedly touched on issues related to race, religion and royalty, or 3R. According to Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein, the Attorney General's Chambers AGC had issued an order for Muhyiddin to be charged at the Gua Musang Sessions Court in Kelantan.
Besok Tan Sri Muhyiddin telah pun dimaklumkan kepada peguam dia untuk dituduh di Section Court Gua Musang, Kelantan di bawah Section 4 dan Kurang 1 hasutan. So itu pemakluman yang telah kita buatkan kepada lawyer Tan Sri Muhyiddin lah.
Previously, the media reported that the police had submitted the investigation paper on the Pagoh Member of Parliament's speech to the AGC on August 21st for further action. The IGP also mentioned that they had taken statements from Muhyiddin and 66 witnesses to assist in the investigation. Earlier, a speech by Muhyiddin that allegedly questioned the authority of Sultan of Pahang, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa bin Shah during his tenure as the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong went viral on social media. The Cybersecurity Act 2024, or Act 854, which is aimed at enhancing national cybersecurity, comes into force on Monday. This law represents a significant milestone in bolstering Malaysia's cyber defences and increasing the country's resilience to emerging threats. The Prime Minister's office said in a statement that Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, as the minister responsible for cybersecurity, had set the date for this act to come into force after having obtained the royal assent from the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim on June 18th. Act 854 was enacted to enhance national cybersecurity by providing provisions for the establishment of the National Cybersecurity Committee, or JKSN, the duties and powers of the Chief Executive of the National Cybersecurity Agency, NEXA, the functions and responsibilities of the heads of the National Critical Information Infrastructure and CII sectors, as well as NCII entities. It was also drafted to manage cybersecurity threats and incidents involving NCII, regulate cybersecurity service providers through licensing, and to provide provisions for related matters. The Cybersecurity Bill 2024 was passed by both the Dewan Rakyat and Dewan Negara on March 27th and April 3rd, respectively, after being tabled by Digital Minister Gobind Singh Dio. Now, there are 31 suspected cases of Mpox or monkeypox in Malaysia as of Monday, of which 25 cases have been confirmed negative, while 6 are still being monitored. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the number of Mpox cases in Malaysia remained at 9, the first of which was reported on July 26, 2023, and the last in November of the same year.
To date, to this moment in time, no positive cases. But nonetheless, we are, as I said on my point earlier, about how we are actually strengthening and alerting all our, especially borders control, and as well our 8 laboratories, that we are now activating, and as well our CPRC is on the alert.
Speaking to the media after witnessing the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between KPJ Healthcare and MCMC, Dr. Zulkifli said the Health Ministry took immediate steps following the increase in cases in neighbouring countries, including Singapore and Thailand. These included more stringent screening at the country's entry points and the activation of 10 laboratories, including 2 private laboratories and a crisis preparedness and response centre that conduct PCR tests for verification purposes. On another matter, the current supply of human insulin in the country will last until the end of the year. In confirming this, Dr. Zulkifli also refuted claims of a depletion in supply and clarified that the issue stemmed from a contractual obligation with one of the ministry's suppliers.
We are now talking to them again to ensure that they will have to provide, whether it is coming from the Johor punya plant, but besides that, also coming from India. So we are in communication with the Indian principals and Biocon punya forces. So they must supply it, whether it's coming locally or overseas. So be that as it may, apapun kita tidak mahu shortage ini akan menjejaskan patient care.
Dr. Zulkifli said that the ministry was exploring alternatives and is actively engaging with other suppliers, adding that interested overseas suppliers will need to submit their dossiers to the Health Ministry. The ministry, he said, will expedite the registration process through the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency. Now, the government has yet to receive any feedback from the opposition regarding the draft Memorandum of Understanding MOU on the allocation of funds to opposition members of parliament. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof revealed this when approached by reporters at an event in Putrajaya on Monday.
Tanya pemanggang. Tanya ke pemanggang, belum dapat lagi. Belum dapat respon daripada dia. Belum.
On August 20th, Perikatan Nasional Chief Whip Datuk Seri Taqiyuddin Hassan was reported to have said that they had received the draft MOU and would discuss it soon. Previously, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim stated that the issue of fund allocation to opposition MPs should not be a complicated matter to resolve. He said the conditions set for any opposition MP seeking to obtain allocations are basic requirements and standard procedures in any negotiation and democratic practice. Moving on, the 25th Malaysia-Brunei Annual Leaders Consultation ALC in Bandar Seri Begawan has successfully strengthened bilateral ties between both nations. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that the government is committed to enhancing the relationship to provide greater benefits to the people of both countries.
Di antara yang dipersetujui ialah pelancongan kerjasama dalam bidang pelancongan, terutama untuk Brunei, Sabah dan Sarawak. Penerbangan sektor pengangkutan juga di antara Brunei, Sabah dan Sarawak selain dari Semenanjung. Jadi ini dan juga bidang pertanian.
Anwar told this to reporters at the end of his two-day visit to Brunei on Monday. He also said that Kuala Lumpur is committed to enhancing cooperation in various fields such as education, investment, technology and defence, as well as addressing long-standing issues including border disputes. Anwar also expressed his gratitude to the Sultan of Brunei, Sultan Hassan Al Bolkiah, for the support given to Petronas in the exploration and production of oil and gas in the country. Earlier, Anwar was granted an audience with Sultan Hassan Al Bolkiah at Istana Nurul Iman. Also present during the audience was Brunei Crown Prince Pengiran Muda Mahkota Al Muhtadi Billah. Accompanying the Prime Minister was Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Seri Haji Noor, Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan, as well as Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz. Anwar then had a four-eyed meeting for an hour with Sultan Hassanal, where both leaders reviewed the progress of bilateral cooperation and discussed new initiatives to strengthen the bilateral ties between both nations. Following the meeting, Anwar and Sultan Hassanal witnessed the signing of two memoranda of understanding involving land boundary demarcation between Malaysia and Brunei and aviation cooperation between Brunei, Sabah and Sarawak to boost the tourism industry in the region, as well as an exchange of notes involving maritime access between both countries. Anwar and his delegation was then fated to a luncheon hosted by Sultan Hassanal. This was Anwar's third visit to Brunei since becoming Prime Minister. This year also marks the 40th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Malaysia and Brunei. The Defence Ministry is calling for a thorough investigation into the sinking of the Royal Malaysian Navy RMN vessel KD Pendekar, which sunk off the coast of Johor on Sunday. Defence Minister Datuk Seri Muhammed Nordin said that while the vessel had been in service since 1979, its 50-year age was not currently considered the primary cause of the incident.
Kita tak nafikan bahawa usia-usia kapal kita yang telah terlalu lama. Tetapi itu bukannya mungkin antara punca. Puncanya seperti yang dikatakan dia terlanggar objek. Jadi yang ini sedang dibuat kajian.
He added that his ministry is currently inspecting 1/3 of the Royal Malaysian Navy's fleet, about 10 to 15 vessels over 40 years old, to ensure that they remain operationally safe. He also said that efforts were underway to modernise the Navy's fleet, including the construction of littoral combat ships, LCS, and the acquisition of littoral mission ships, LMS, from Turkey. On Sunday, the KD Pendekar sunk 2 nautical miles southeast of Tanjung Penyusup at 3:54 p.m. All 39 crew members on board were safely rescued and did not suffer any injuries in the incident. 2 companies have applied to become qualified vehicle inspection service providers, entering an industry monopolised by Puspacom for 30 years. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said that Puspacom's concession would officially end this Saturday to make way for a new mechanism that promotes competition. According to Loke, Puspacom is the first company to be authorised to conduct motor vehicle inspections under the new mechanism. He added that the government is also encouraging other industry players to apply for the service provider licence, which will remain open until this October 31st. He also said that almost 50 companies have expressed interest in providing motor vehicle inspection services.
Jadi mana syarikat yang telah lulus penilaian, kita akan bagi lesen. Seperti hari ini Puspacom sebab dia dah syarikat yang beroperasi selama ini.
Last year, Loke announced that effective September 1st this year, Puspacom would no longer be the sole provider of motor vehicle inspection services, as the Cabinet had decided to allow other qualified companies to provide this service on behalf of the Road Transport Department, JPJ. Among the conditions for the licence are having suitable land, technical abilities, machinery and equipment. The scope of vehicle inspections includes preliminary inspections, periodic inspections for commercial vehicles and ownership transfer inspections. A high-pressure jetting machine is being used to break rock debris found in the sewer near the sinkhole in front of Wisma Yakin on Jalan Masjid India as part of efforts to locate an Indian woman who went missing after falling into the pit last Friday. This after a crawler mounted with cameras, which was used to search for the victim on Monday, discovered the solid debris about 4 meters from the site of the sinkhole.
Kita lihat ada serpihan objek berupa batu bata keras. Jadi pagi tadi dan berterusan kita menggunakan teknik jetting ini untuk kita pecahkan serpihan objek ini supaya bila pecah air itu akan turun ke bawah dan hopefully apa juga objek termasuk badan manusia akan melepasi objek yang menahan air tersebut.
Indah Water Consortium IWK has conducted flushing operations involving 10 manholes at the Jalan Masjid India area, while search efforts were also ongoing at its Pantai Dalam plant. On Friday, 48-year-old Vijaya Lechumi, who was on vacation with her family in the country, was walking through the area to a nearby temple when she was swallowed by the 8-meter deep sinkhole at 8:22 a.m. After 4 days of searching, rescuers have yet to find any signs of the woman, apart from a pair of slippers belonging to the victim. Scores killed in Balochistan terrorist attacks. This and more from the Foreign Front after this short break.
Menarik di MHI.
Mengenang jasa perjuangan dan pengorbanan demi sebuah kemerdekaan.
Mpox atau cacar monyet ketahui gejala dan rawatan.
Kemalangan jalan raya melibatkan kanak-kanak, adakah ibu bapa yang harus dipertanggungjawabkan?
Istimewa Hari Kebangsaan kami bawakan raptai secara langsung pada hari Khamis.
Kesan kenaikan gaji kepada kerancakan ekonomi dalam soal wang.
MHI Senin hingga Jumaat di TV3.
Jika stream melalui Tonton.
Jangan lagi! Betul!
Dia seorang yang kecil orang dia. Adakah dia seorang penjenayah?
Pastikan semua tu berjalan lancar. Duit memang okey ya.
Benda ni takkan kurang kalau kata masyarakat kita pun bersekongkol sekali.
Diam!
Kecuali masyarakat kita ni ada semangat cinta Malaysia tu negara dia.
Pada usia 23 tahun, kematiannya dilaporkan tiada unsur jenayah. Jasad Muhammad Niza Afham ditemui di Sungai Kelang pada 14 Ogos lalu dan diklasifikasikan sebagai mati mengejut.
Dan memang kita menjumpai body tu di area sinilah.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Onto the foreign front. The latest push for a ceasefire in Gaza between Israel and Hamas ended in Cairo with no breakthrough, allowing the devastating war in the Palestinian enclave to continue. The two-day talks, mediated by the US, Egypt and Qatar, ended as Israel and Hamas remain divided over issues that include the return of displaced Palestinians to Gaza and the fate of a strip on the Egypt-Gaza border that the Zionist regime captured in May. However, a US official said the talks were constructive and would continue with working group discussions in the coming days. Meanwhile, Zionist strikes killed at least 7 Palestinians, including 2 at a school in Al-Nusairat camp and Deir al-Balah, where around 1 million people were sheltering. Over in Pakistan, more than 60 people were killed in the province of Balochistan after separatist militants attacked police stations, railway lines and highways. Pakistan's military said 14 soldiers and police, as well as 21 terrorists, were killed in fighting after the largest of the attacks, which targeted vehicles from buses to goods trucks on a major highway, killed at least 23 people. The attacks also saw 35 vehicles set ablaze. The militants also targeted police and security stations in the sprawling province, one of which killed at least 10 people. The militant group Balochistan Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for the attacks. The attacks were believed to be part of a plan to incite anarchy in Pakistan. A strong typhoon was headed for southern Japan on Tuesday, with forecasters warning of heavy rains, powerful winds and possible transport problems later this week. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency, Typhoon Shanshan is expected to cross the Amam Island area on Wednesday, packing gusts of up to 216 kilometers per hour before veering towards the main southern island of Kyushu. Some 400 millimeters of rain is also expected in the 24 hours in the Miyazaki prefecture in Kyushu. Japan Airlines stated that it will cancel 39 domestic flights scheduled for Tuesday and 77 domestic and 6 international flights on Wednesday due to the forthcoming typhoon. Railways, flights and highway traffic could also be disrupted. Japanese Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa said on Sunday that he has received support from over 20 lawmakers to run in the September 27th presidential election of the ruling party to choose a successor to outgoing Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. 71-year-old Kamikawa, who belongs to the Liberal Democratic Party LDP faction, is seen as a leading contender to become Japan's first female Prime Minister. This is due to her previous appointment as the nation's top diplomat in September 2023. The leadership race follows Kishida's unexpected decision not to seek re-election as LDP leader due to a slush fund scandal from late last year that severely damaged public trust in the party. To officially enter the presidential race, a candidate must be recommended by at least 20 LDP lawmakers. A winning start for Bayern Sports when we come back.
Betul. Dia seorang yang kecil orang dia. Adakah dia seorang penjenayah?
Pastikan semua tu berjalan lancar. Duit memang okey ya.
Benda ni takkan kurang kalau kata masyarakat kita pun bersekongkol sekali.
Diam.
Kecuali masyarakat kita ni ada semangat cinta Malaysia tu negara dia.
Menarik di MHI.
Mengenang jasa perjuangan dan pengorbanan demi sebuah kemerdekaan.
Mpox atau cacar monyet ketahui gejala dan rawatan.
Kemalangan jalan raya melibatkan kanak-kanak, adakah ibu bapa yang harus dipertanggungjawabkan?
Istimewa Hari Kebangsaan kami bawakan raptai secara langsung pada hari Khamis.
Kesan kenaikan gaji kepada kerancakan ekonomi dalam soal wang.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat di TV3.
Juga stream melalui Tonton.
Pada usia 23 tahun, kematiannya dilaporkan tiada unsur jenayah. Jasad Muhammad Afham ditemui di Sungai Klang pada 14 Ogos lalu dan diklasifikasikan sebagai mati mengejut.
Dan memang kita menjumpai body tu di area sinilah.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports. Former England manager Sven-Göran Eriksson has died at the age of 76 after a battle with pancreatic cancer. Eriksson's longtime agent, Bo Gustafsson, said Eriksson had lost his battle with cancer early on Monday, surrounded by his family. The charismatic coach, who led Swedish, Portuguese and Italian clubs to major trophies in the 1980s and 1990s before taking on the England job in 2001, announced earlier this year that he had terminal cancer. Eriksson guided the Three Lions to the 2002 and 2006 World Cup quarter-finals and the 2004 European Championship, managing stars like David Beckham, Wayne Rooney and Steven Gerrard. Some football action now. The German Bundesliga Bayern Munich's Serge Gnabry scored a late winner as they defeated Wolfsburg 3-2 in a 5-goal thriller. Bayern took the lead in the 19th minute after Frenchman Sacha Boey's excellent play down the right set up Jamal Musiala for an easy tap-in. Wolfsburg levelled the score a minute after the break when Lovro Mayer converted a penalty following a poor defence from Boey. Mayer then put the home side ahead 5 minutes before the hour mark, just for Bayern to equalise 20 minutes later, no thanks to Wolfsburg's Jakub Kaminski's own goal. Gnabry became the hero for the visitors as he struck the winner 8 minutes from time following Harry Kane's pass. With the results, the Vincent Kompany's side stood in 5th place while Wolfsburg dropped to 14th in the standings. In another match, St. Pauli's return to the top division after a 13-year absence was spoiled somewhat by a 2-0 defeat at home to Heidenheim. The second division champion had enjoyed the better chances and looked more likely to score before Heidenheim's Paul Wenner fired in the opener on a counter-attack from a corner in the 66th minute. Jan Schopner sealed the win in the 82nd minute when he bundled home a Matthias Hansak's corner at the back post for a 2-0 victory for Heidenheim. The result leaves Heidenheim in second place with 3 points, while St. Pauli remains at the bottom of the league. More than 3 million ringgit of methamphetamine seized. The details when we come back.
Pada usia 23 tahun, kematiannya dilaporkan tiada unsur jenayah. Jasad Muhammad Afham ditemui di Sungai Klang pada 14 Ogos lalu dan diklasifikasikan sebagai mati mengejut.
Dan memang kita menjumpai body tu di area sinilah.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Di padang sawana yang luas, siapa yang akan bertahan? Mendominasi rantai makanan di benua Afrika.
they must kill to survive.
Alam yang kembali bangkit menguasai.
After the wildfires.
Saksikan keajaiban alam setiap Rabu dan Khamis 5 petang di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Betul. Dia seorang yang kecil orang dia. Adakah dia seorang penjenayah?
Pastikan semua tu berjalan lancar. Duit memang okey ya.
Benda ni takkan kurang kalau kata masyarakat kita pun bersekongkol sekali.
Diam.
Kecuali masyarakat kita ni ada semangat cinta Malaysia tu negara dia.
Welcome back. In Sarawak, the Magistrates Court on Monday issued a remand order against 2 siblings operating petrol station business in Cebu for suspected involvement in a subsidised diesel smuggling syndicate and bribery of enforcement officials. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, in a statement said that Magistrate Romario Jonoy granted the remand application. The male suspect in his 40s was remanded for 4 days until August 29th, while his sister in her 30s was remanded for 1 day. The siblings were arrested along with 2 other men and a woman at a diesel oil storage depot in Sungai Bidut. The 5 suspects are believed to have been part of a syndicate that sold subsidized diesel for the use of fishermen, selling it at a higher price to buyers from abroad. This syndicate is believed to have been operating since 2012, generating a profit of up to 400 million ringgit. They are also suspected of paying bribes to some enforcement officers to avoid enforcement action for storing diesel without a valid permit. MACC seized approximately 3.7 million ringgit in cash, 2 barges and 30 oil storage tanks believed to contain approximately 1.6 million litres of diesel. The other 3 suspects were released on MACC bail. The case is being investigated under the MACC Act 2009 in addition to the Penal Code and the Supply Control Act 1961. Sarawak police seized 105 kilograms of methamphetamine worth 3.4 million ringgit in a raid on 2 locations at Bandar Baru Permajaya in Miri on Saturday. State Police Commissioner Datuk Mancha Atta said that the confiscation is the largest in Sarawak this year. Police also detained 3 male suspects aged between 32 and 52 who were arrested along with a 26-year-old foreign woman. Police checks revealed that all of the suspects tested positive for methamphetamine and amphetamine, while 2 of the male suspects had prior criminal records related to drug offences and other crimes. The drugs are believed to have been trafficked into Miri from the peninsula by sea route. The suspects stored the drugs in the residential house before being distributed under the direction of the 2 syndicates. The suspects were remanded for 7 days from Sunday until September 1st, and the case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Draws to a close. This time around, let's take a look at visuals of dough figurines at the 2024 China Intangible Cultural Heritage Noodle Conference held in Taiwan, China. You've been with me, Muhammed and Hamdan, for the past half an hour. Thank you and take care.